shit, you smoke a deer or a pronghorn, huh? Looks like to me. Feels like it might do. Make sure before we shut the engine off, I guess. Just in case. Well, we finally got the box truck camper out for another outing, another little mini adventure, if you will. Another shakedown run. We did some work on things since we had it out last time. Still have some things to do, of course. We're probably going to have things to do on this thing basically forever because about the time we're finally getting everything done the way we want, we'll probably be into changes or just stuff getting worn out or whatever. So anyways, we're out. We're in the Thunder Basin National Grassland in Wyoming. We did have a little extra adventure trying to leave. We finally got everything prepared. Stairs are folded up in the back, strapped down. All the stuff's ready to go. Get in the truck, go to back out, and it won't start. So, of course, then I got to undo the stairs and put the stairs down so I can get back into the truck so I can find some tools to figure out what's going on. Battery was just low. The alternator's charging fine. And we've never had trouble with it before, except for the one time in Oglala National Grassland a few weeks ago, a month ago maybe. But that wasn't actually the battery, that was the cables were loose. As soon as I fixed the loose cables, it was fine. So I don't know what's going on with that, if I got a parasitic draw somewhere. It was parked for several weeks, maybe even a month. So I'm not sure. We'll have to figure that out. We grabbed the battery charger and a Blue Eddy portable power station, went around front, used that to charge the battery a little bit, got it started. As soon as it fired up, the alternator's charging fine, so we'll see what happens. I may have to do that again to get out of here, and if that happens, we'll just have to get a new battery, because it could be the battery's gone bad. I don't think it's very old, but we'll figure it out anyway. So a little extra adventure. That's why it's always a good idea. We were in town, so it wouldn't have been the end of the world, except for we're nosed into a hole with this thing because that's the way we have to be because of the length of it. It's the only way we can make things work, and it will be a little challenging to get to us. I might have to pull the battery out of the truck if we didn't have a battery charger. So that or a booster pack are, a really good idea, especially if you're getting out in the backcountry at all, because you never know what you're going to have with a dead battery. We'd go out more. I was thinking today we'd be going out more, except for, well, we're still finishing a build, of course. But the two big pain points right now are we got to finish getting stuff put away and get things organized and so that secured, so that things don't go flying everywhere when we travel. We kind of got. I think we got stuff put away pretty good on this trip. We don't think we lost anything, did we, dear? She says we didn't lose anything, so that's good. But it's still a pain in the butt. So we got to get that more dialed in. When my rule with van life has always been 5 minutes or less road ready. Practically speaking, bigger vehicle, we're, two people, maybe I could live with 15 to 20 minutes road ready or less. But for sure, it's got to be better than what it is. So it's, just trying to get everything put away in places where it stays put. So that's something we're working on still. The other thing, I've got to upgrade our power system in here because I'm already fretting about the next couple days because it clouded up on us pretty good. It was sunny this morning, clouded up pretty good on us this afternoon. So we're fully charged coming out, but whether that'll hold, we'll see. Tomorrow and the next 2 days, tomorrow and the day after, they're saying mostly sunny, but with some scattered clouds. So hopefully that does for us. Then we're going to be back to town after that, and we'll do some more stuff, fix things, and improve things, and try it again. So that we're still in that phase of we're in the truck, but we're having to experiment with things and keep trying to finalize things and figure out what's working and what's not, and what have you. But I need to upgrade the electrical system. And I have to decide exactly how I want to do that. But the first thing I have to decide is where it's all going to live. We started off with it on the wall behind the door. I didn't love that. That was kind of a temporary thing to get something going. We were having trouble with the controller, and we pulled that system out. Just been using power stations now. And they're sitting on shelving that is, again, it's temporary. It was not ever intended to be permanent. We have another plan for that shelving and for that space, too. But so either the power stations and all the electrical stuff will end up in the garage space in the back. Then we'll also have room for some other storage or whatever. Or it's going to end up midship mount somewhere behind me, more or less, in the middle. So as soon as I decide garage space in the back or mid mount here behind where I'm sitting, we'll get an improved electrical system. That's the other thing that holds us up. We got to look at the weather because I have to be able to work. So we have to be able to run our refrigerator, and now that it's getting cooler, we have to be able to run our diesel heater, which requires some electricity. So those two things. But we'll get the electric sorted out pretty soon too, and then we'll be getting out even more. And we really want to get this done before winter because we're going to head down to the desert for a while, and we have like a alternate home base down there in the desert. But we go over to Death Valley a few times a year. We'd love to camp over there. We've never done that. We would like to get down to Arizona this year and do some boondocking. And so we really got to get some of these things sorted out so that we can, be off grid for longer periods of time. But that's part of the challenge with doing a big build like this is as you get trying to figure out if everything's working the way you want it to. I've done enough van builds now, many van builds now, that I'm pretty comfortable knowing what's going to work and what's not going to work. This is a whole different deal. It's way bigger and it's, more of a box. So there's just more options. And so it's kind of a process figuring out exactly what's going to work best for us in this size space, because the space is kind of fixed. So we got to figure out what works best for us in here. But we're out here in the grasslands. We're hoping for a really good sunset this evening. It's clouding up heavier as we go on, so I don't know what's going to happen. We might be a bust, or we might be a really good one. If we get anything at all, we'll get some footage for you. And hopefully we're going to get a couple days in here, enjoy some peace and quiet out here in the grasslands. And we do have to watch the weather because it's barely not so muddy that we can get in here. If it was any worse, we wouldn't have been getting in here today. And if we get any rain, we're going to have to bail out of here because this is just a mud hole down here. The road coming in is improved. When you get down here near the reservoir where we're at, it just it's muddy. So we got to watch out for that. But we'll see what happens the next few days while we're here. Well, time for a cup of tea, chai specifically. I'm already a couple cups of coffee in this morning, so switch over to some tea now. It is kind of cold out there today. We were down below freezing overnight, not like horribly, but down into the probably around 30 or upper 20s. Had some nice frost everywhere outside this morning. But I was just outside for a minute. I was waiting for my tea to steep, and it is chilly out there. And the wind is blowing like crazy. We had hoped to take a walk around the little reservoir here this morning, but it's really cold and blustery. So maybe this afternoon if it settles down. It was windy here yesterday, but not as bad as today. Then it settled down overnight. The wind was pretty calm once the sun went down. So this is the, in other areas you might call this the windy season, but in Wyoming we have a not so windy season. A couple months, 3 months in the summer. The rest of the year it tends to be pretty windy, so hopefully it settles down a bit, but meanwhile, we're kind of hunkering down inside so far today. We've got nice views out the windows, but we're hunkering down inside because it's cold and windy. And because this is a lifestyle for us, I got to work wherever I'm at. I know I look old with all the white hair, but I'm still working age. And got some videos to edit today while we're out here in the wilderness. And we're also working on finishing up a book publishing project. I've got a couple of books I'm working on right now for people. So trying to get those all finished up. Well, the first one, make some good progress on it today, hopefully. We are kind of battling the weather again. It was supposed to be mostly sunny today, and it started off sunny. It cleared up overnight. It was cloudy yesterday, cleared up overnight, and we had the full moon out. And then it's clouding up again this morning. So hopefully these clouds burn off. We need to get more solar on this roof, but this time of year the sun's pretty low on the horizon anyway, so you don't get it too early in the morning. Really, for solar, it cuts off on you fairly early in the evening, early evening, late afternoon. Once again, we're running short on power. We're not critical situation yet, but if the sun doesn't come out, we're going to have a problem. We have to cut our trip shorter than we had wanted, just because I have to be able to work and I need electricity and internet to be able to do that. So here's hoping. But I definitely have to, as I was saying earlier, I have to make some upgrades to our electrical system, but I have to decide where home is going to be for the power center. Because I've had 2 temporary homes for it, knowing that neither one of them was permanent. But it's basically the garage thing in the back or kind of behind me here. And they both have advantages and disadvantages. So I got to make a decision on that in the coming days. And then we can work on upgrading our system so we've got more capacity. Because I have actually some stuff I can integrate now, but I need to, again, I don't want to waste a lot of time and money on wiring if I'm going to move things again. So that's really the next step. And then I need to get more solar on the roof. That'll also help a lot. This time of year, summer, we got plenty of power. Winter time, well, we're not even in winter yet, but coming into into fall now, not so much. The sun's just too low. And I've had times a few years ago with a trailer, I was down at Quartzsite, and even though normally I had plenty of power, on this occasion we had like 3 days of heavy clouds and a lot of rain, and I was in trouble. I was having to run the van, which I did fortunately have DC to DC in, so I could charge batteries so that I was able to tether to the trailer. And that allowed me to actually stay working. But it was like 3 days in a row you didn't see the sun. So even down in the desert in the winter, it can be a challenge. So that's going to be coming. So I'll make sure to film that so you guys can see what we end up doing in the coming days. But this is the second or third time we've gone out on a camping trip, and in between build stuff, we work on the build stuff, try and go out and test everything. And it's the second or third time, even though the weather said we should have plenty of sunshine, it didn't work out that way, and it's been a problem with the power. So that's got to get solved real quick.